Hello.
All right. Just take a drink, take your time, settle down. First question. What are you most proudest of?
What am I most proud of? I think coming from Greece, I did have that way of thinking. I was a bit risk averse and I was a little bit scared of all the things that I could do, but I didn't think I could. So I think overcoming that fear is a big achievement of mine, and I think it's quite inspiring for other people. I want to give that to other people as well, because maybe I achieved it myself, so I find that this is something that everyone should experience, something that, stop yourself from making all these excuses. If you can't sell your own product, no one is going to buy it. Like, no one is going to be interested if you don't have the passion to say, this is what I have. And I remember when we were first starting, it's quite important, whatever. Like, I don't know does anyone here have a business or is running a business or wants to start a business? Yeah, some of you? Okay. So it's very important to just be passionate about what you do. But also, if you're asking people for money, you should be feeling confident about it. Because I remember at the beginning, part of it was I was not confident about what we were giving because we were not solving a problem. I think the moment we started solving a problem, I felt I could ask for money. I was proud of what I was doing. So if you're not proud of what you're doing, figure it out and make it valuable for other people. If you're proud of what you're doing and you're scared to going out and selling it, then you should find that courage and go out and try it. And you would see it's hard, it's not easy, but it's good for the soul.
Thank you. Now, you said that you come from a culture which is quite risk averse, and your family was also quite risk averse, except your grandfather. Can you share the moment when you realized you had broken through that, or when you had come to acknowledge that, hey, maybe there's a different way of doing things?
It's quite interesting because I don't think there was a breakthrough moment. I think it was just a whole period of like really, really hard time. And at some point, I'd just like sit back and I'd be like, I don't want to get out of bed. My life sucks. Everything is so hard. And then eventually I'll be like, or I'll go for comfort to my business partners, and they'll be like, toughen up. Where did you think it's going to be fun? So I think part of it was just saying to myself, it's not meant to be easy. It's meant to be challenging. And everything that is worth should be challenging, because you have to teach people about different ways. You have to challenge their status quo. You have to change things in the way they are, even yourself, to be able to overcome your fears and become a better person. So whether that is just giving people something that you have to teach them about, like when we first tried selling software, it was not just about selling software, it was educating people on how to use it and how easier their life is going to be using it, and how their ways that the software that we were using were archaic and not the right system for them. And that was really hard. And getting through that, educating people, but also educating yourself to not be scared, was a big breakthrough. And it happened over a long time. So I think, though, once we had a lot of clients, I knew it was a small success, I guess.
Now, one thing that came through tonight was both Sally and yourself said how difficult it is and how unglamorous business is, really. Was there a point when you just said, I can't go on, I can't get out of bed, I can't take one more step?
Yeah, you shouldn't be asking that question, you know very well. There's lots and lots of different times. I can't even remember how many. But I think it's for me, it was a combination of being here in Australia by myself. And I know maybe lots of people here are from a different country and they've come here to just chase a dream or study or do something different. And I miss my family a lot. I miss my support network. I missed my ways, all the things that I had back home. And that was hard in itself. And I think, just, having to get up every morning and deal with people, maybe, because that was like my first job in which it me had to deal with people that maybe did not want to deal with me was not the best thing. So I think up to the point where we had the first customer saying, "Oh my God, this is so good. We love what you guys are doing. This is great." It was a lot of devastating moments and not wanting to get out of bed and being upset, complaining a lot.
You said that you didn't get paid for the first 12 to 18 months.
True.
Can you walk us through what that experience was like?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was very interesting in terms of the reactions that it would get from other people. I think I was used to the lifestyle of a student because I didn't get to. I think it would be harder for someone transitioning from a corporate job to having their own business. I was a student, so I didn't have the opportunity to work for anyone ever. I was working as a freelancer, as a journalist, and that gave me a side income. So that meant that I had to work in 2 jobs, but one of them gave me immense satisfaction, I would say, like a lot more. My creativity was out there. I was like excited about what we were doing. And the other one was just to make money. And the most interesting thing, I think, from that experience was the people's reaction around me, people just looking at you and saying, "What are you doing? Like, why don't you go get a job? Why don't you just do something to, make something with your life? Why did you study all these degrees if you just decided to just waste your time and money? You're wasting your potential," all these different things. And I think it was up to the point where we found like other people that they were starting, similar startups that like some of the things were making sense and they were like quite supportive and they were like, it's good, you're giving it a go. Because most of the people who go there, the way of like, this is something, it's already there, just gonna make money. I don't know how fulfilling that is because I've never tried it, but at the same time, I think it was really hard having an environment so hostile because you're just chasing your dream.
I can imagine someone saying to you, "Go get a real job. What are you doing?" That must be very hurtful. How did you handle this? And was there, who did this come from?
I didn't handle it very well. I think I got angry and upset, and I thought, people, that I thought they were good friends of mine did not really understand, and I got quite away from them. I think it was tough, but, I don't think they meant bad. I don't think they meant to hurt me. I think that's what they knew and that's what they were projecting to me. So I think now it's a lesson for me to not judge people for what they're doing, but just try to understand where they're coming from and what they want to achieve. And maybe there is a vision behind it that justifies, no salary or, opportunity cost or anything that you would call that in order to get there.
So you've painted a picture of people telling you to go get a real job, of not being paid for 12 to 18 months, of all the failures, of crying a lot. Why do it?
I don't know. I think that's what I would try to explain a little bit. I don't know if I achieved to doing that through my presentation, but it's just I think it's what drives you again. I think it's how fulfilling you find. I think there are people like my team. I'm very proud of them. Like they know they're here. I'm like super proud of what they're achieving, and I feel that I'm moving with them towards that goal. And I will be really excited to be working for a company that is innovating and is inclusive and allows people to participate in decision making and product creation and everything else. Because not everyone can be a founder, not everyone can be, like starting a business. And people are some people are a lot better in, like a position where they can have a great impact in a business and be able to like make it really big. But at the same time, I think independence is something that was always there in my life. I wanted to be able to go back home whenever I wanted to. I wanted to be able to take holidays. I wanted to be able to see my mom, my dad, say that I might be able one day to be work from back home or from a different place around the world. And maybe the idea of like having an online business is like just me connecting the dots. And I would also say that, that part, and also having the opportunity to have an impact on people's life is what kept me going. So I don't know why doing it in first place, because you have to be a bit silly and naive to start something like that, thinking, oh, it's going to be all nice and great. Or you have to be like really sure about what you're going to do. But I can tell you why I keep doing it.
And why is that?
Well, you get all these things that I said before. So,
Does anyone have any questions from the audience so far? If you do, raise your hand and we can pass down the microphone. Yes.
I was just interested to know your business partners. Were you friends before you formed the business? And if you were friends, do you have any advice around starting up a business with your friends?
yeah. Do you want me to go? Okay. So me and Kim were friends from university. So I know him already for the 9 years that I've been in Australia. So pretty much I met him while I started, uni. And he was one of the reasons why we started the business, because maybe his background is a little bit more businessy than mine, actually a lot. So he was quite excited about the idea and going on, and I was, taken, over by his excitement. And I was like, yeah, I'll get into it. I think every different friends to have different relationships, so I don't think there is a recipe of doing it. Martin and Cheng I didn't know them before we started the business. So, and I wouldn't say that we are like the closest of friends at the moment, but we're a great team and we're good business partners. Each one of us has his own characteristics. So I would say I know Kim's because we've been friends for a while. I know he would be there for me to support me, but that's what makes a great team. I think culture is something that you need to look into before you just choose a business partner based on skills. I think it's important to understand if the person will be willing to lift you up when you're down and go the extra mile for you and actually really cares. I think it's hard to just choose business partners. Sometimes you might choose the right person, the wrong person, and then you're in trouble. So I think a combination of good skills and good principles is what my advice is. And I would also say, skills, for example, I know none of us had technical skills, so that was quite important. And saying, developers are not the easiest people to deal with. But at the same time, he's an excellent team member. Like, he would work harder than anyone. He's amazing. And it's the same thing with Marty. It's the same thing for Kim. I would never say that I have any complaints from my business partners, because that's what makes us a great team, is surviving the hard times, supporting each other. If one of us says, I'm really, really stressed, I really need to go back home, the rest of them are there to support him and, make sure that he's okay. So all in all, pretty much my advice is, if you're getting into business with a friend, just make sure it's not because he's just your friend.
Any other questions? Yes. If we could please pass the microphone down.
Can you talk a little more about, you talked about when you first launched, you failed, and then you figured out that you had to solve a problem. Can you talk about that moment when you turned around?
Yeah.
So how long had you launched before you realized, especially with the four of you guys, kind of looked at each other and thought, okay, we didn't get this right. What do we do? And then how did you guys turn that around?
Okay, so it was about a few months that we launched. So we thought, okay, so the first idea was let's build a platform where we would actually be able to get people to, list their classes. They would be individuals. So let's say I know how to do marketing, and Kim is, I don't know, he knows how to make terrariums. I'll teach him marketing. He can teach me how to make terrariums. Great. Or I can pay him a small amount of money to teach me how to build terrariums. So that was the first idea. So we built the website, and we went there and we're saying, okay, so this, you put up your class, you spend some money, like people are learning, but we quickly found that the biggest issue was building a marketplace has like a two-sided marketplace. It's like chicken and egg problem. So you have one side, you have, let's say you have like 10 classes and 10 people come on your side and these classes do not interest them. It's an instant fail because they won't come back to the side. Then you have like these people that they put their 10 classes up and no one is booking them. They won't want to like update their classes or they won't care to continue because no one's booking. So you don't know which side to grow first. And that's when we looked at it and we were like, this is not working. We're not making any money. I remember, I still remember we had one of these classes that was a martial art classes, and we're like, okay, so we need to make sure that we're going to book this class. So we invited all our friends. We pretty much called all our friends. We're like, there is no one booking. Can you please come to this class? So we pretty much paid our own money to the actual person that was doing the class because we pretty much shouted our friends a ticket because we couldn't make this happen. And instantly we're like, okay, this is no way, this is a joke. So instantly we're like, okay, do we give up? No, we're not. So let's go and like find some people that they're not our friends that we can go out and talk to and like hear about the real problems. And that's when we actually I was like, put on Google, like the first top page of Google and said, cooking classes. And the first people that came, I picked up the phone and was like, hi, my name is Demi. I'm working on this project and I do not want to sell you anything. I just want your feedback on what we're doing. We're trying to create something innovative. Would you spend like 10, 15 minutes of your time with me? And surprisingly, people were like, oh yeah. I was like, oh my God, people want to see me. So I went there and all I wanted was to hear the problems. I was like, what is it that gives you a headache? What is it that makes your life hard? What can I do to help you out? What would be the perfect scenario of like running your business and how can I do this for you? And after like the 10th meeting, I would say every single person was having the same answers. I was anticipating the same answers from every single person. And I was genuinely not there to sell them anything. I was genuinely there to find a problem that I needed to solve so that I actually create a business that is of value to someone. And when we started building on that, I engaged the same people that had given me the feedback. I went there and I said, look what we've done. We've solved all these problems that you have. And then I asked them, would you be willing to pay for this? And if you're willing, we're happy to give it to you for a few months to try it out, or, like as long as you think it's needed till you understand what value it brings. And they were willing to pay for it. They were happy to hear about what we had. And that's how we got our first clients. That's how we pretty much created the one side of the marketplace.
Any other questions so far?
My question is, how do you see We Teach Me expanding?
So plans for the future. So we're currently in Australia, and that's quite exciting. I think the main challenge was how can we be in every city in Australia without having a presence on it. So without like having team members there and making sure that we keep growing. So I think we still have a lot of issues to solve internally, to say processes that they're like perfectly ironed and we can scale slowly. I think once these are all, like done and dusted, I think then the next step is to expand to an overseas market. Actually, my vision and my dream would be to have We Teach Me to be the place where every single person could teach something that they think they're passionate about. Every person that would like to start a business that is like pretty much teaching people their passion, to be able to achieve that and find customers through We Teach Me, and be able to like run the classes through We Teach Me and get to that point where they're independent, they're making enough money to support themselves. So I think it's a very interesting case about where we go from here. I think there has to be a lot of research in terms of what is the next market that we're going to enter, and this is something that we haven't done yet, but we anticipate that will be happening in the next year or so. And of course, we are always dedicated in improving the software, according, of course, to like what technological improvements we could do in order to help our customers more with their bookings, with their marketing, with administration. That's, I don't know if that covers a little bit.
Demi and Kim came actually to talk to me quite a while ago. I think I was one of the first. And Kim wanted the password to my website, and I thought, I'm not giving it to you. To try and connect We Teach Me. I'm now a full-time candle and soap making workshop teacher, which is great. So, and yes, they did solve my problems with the admin side, so well done.
Thank you, Frosa.
Thank you, Frosa. Any other questions? We have time for maybe a few more.
You talked about the failures early on, like really early on, but you didn't really get into the nitty-gritty of what the failures were. Maybe you can
Dirty details.
Maybe you can expand a little bit on what exactly was going wrong over and over, and how you overcame it.
Yeah. Where do I start? Maybe you can give me some support, Kim, here, like with you doing support anyway now. So, like, let's say, so besides the site that was like really shit, the first thing that we created, and it didn't provide any value to anyone, but only headaches to us. The second thing, the things that I can think about is I was sales. What else was I? Sales, meetings, marketing. I was just like wearing a hat every
Coca-Cola buyer.
Yeah, I was just wearing a hat about everything. We didn't know how to get out there, how to engage people. It was just me calling people and saying, hi, this is what we're doing. And eventually I got burnt out. I was like, oh, I just don't want to hear anyone, don't want to pick up the phone, don't want to talk to anyone. We had Marty, that's not a people's person, doing support. That was like no very good idea. But, we had like the limited resources we had. It was just pretty much what we could do. Then the other thing that I can think of is our first employees were people from the Philippines, whom we didn't like. Actually, the team was really good, but we didn't know how to manage them. We didn't have processes together. So, like, let's say the first people I knew how to like engage and knew how to do sales. Then, how do I explain to someone else how to do the sales, like pass that knowledge from my head to their head? That was something that I was like, okay, I have to write that down, and then I would give it to them and they would do whatever, or they would just be, okay, like call people 100 times and, annoy them. And mistakes like that you don't really know how to handle, like 100 different things that, small issues that you just don't know how to solve because you don't have anyone to ask. You just like sit there and you're like, ooh, this is a big problem. Does anyone know how to solve this? So eventually it's like the best way, like I always think myself, one of the best lessons of just running a startup and, running your own business is you're very resourceful. So now every time I have something, let's say I have a marketing question that I have no idea how to solve, I'm like, I have no idea how to do Facebook ads. this is something that I don't know how to handle. I'll just go and find someone, even Google someone that's a best Facebook running person, marketeer in Australia, and I'll just reach out to them and I say, this is what I do. I really love your work. Can you please meet me for 5 minutes? And then in these 5 minutes, I'll ask as many questions as I can. I'll be like writing down nonstop, asking questions. How do you do this? How do you do that? How can I fix this? How can I fix that? What's your idea on this? So that's how I learn. And I think, you can go in any way. You can do something and do 100 mistakes and make 100 mistakes and never get there. Or you can just learn from someone that is the expert. I don't know, what else? Can you imagine can you remember any other failures that we had?
I think this is all you. The spotlight's on you tonight, Demi.
Come on, help me out.
I actually have a question. Now, by show of hands, who here is in a startup with a friend or a family member? There's quite a few here tonight. And who was the person that asked a question about with a friend? Okay, I don't know if I'm going to regret asking this question, but was there ever a time where you felt like our friendship was in danger?
Yeah, now you don't even want to help me with with the failure question. I think yes. I think it's the times that the other person is like and I actually appreciate that. I think deep inside me, I never thought that the friendship would be in failure, but on the spot, you turn around to the person that is the closest one to you, like your best friend or your business partner, or you consider them like family after working with them and going through all these challenges, and you expect a lot of support, and instead of them supporting you, they just come around. They're like, oh, you should have known better, or you should toughen up, or you're not doing right. And Kim is great at doing this. So on one side, it makes me feel upset, and I'm like, oh, he doesn't appreciate me. I'm smarter than him, a lot more beautiful. I don't understand. I'm like, I never understood why he would be that harsh with me. But I think I've grown through that. It has helped me challenge myself and my decisions and how I actually perceive myself, and it has made me a better person. So I think sometimes like a little bit of tough love that comes from the intention to make you a better person is good. But I would actually know if you were malicious in first place, so you wouldn't be my friend in the first place if I had any ideas about that. But yeah.
Oh. Any other questions? I feel as if there's a few hands. I think we have time for 2 more questions, and then we'll call it a night.
I just wanted to ask a question. So you said after your initial failure, you went back and you researched and you talked to your businesses and you made sure you fixed that problem, but you had a marketplace. So how did you, once you fixed the business's problem, did it automatically bring all the customers who then helped those businesses make more money by selling more courses, or how did you fix the other side of the marketplace?
Okay, so the main problem for us was first fund it, so make money out of it. The second problem was grow the marketplace. And we were thinking, okay, the best way to do it is concentrate on one side. So the side we chose was the side of the vendors. And we pivoted to be more of a software solution rather than a marketplace straight away. So we said to them, we take over all your administration. Frosa, give us your details of your website, and we're going to get in there, your passwords, and we're going to get in there and mess with it and put our widgets in there, make sure you can get bookings. And people were a bit, at the beginning cautious, and they were like, "Oh, I'm not going to give you my passwords or anything. I don't know who you are. Why would I give you my money?" All these things. And that was something that was solved with a lot of trust, a lot of visitors, a lot of, making them feel comfortable. So once this happened, we started getting a lot of vendors, because what we solved for them was the issue of administration. So at the beginning, we said to them, help us, we'll help you solve their administration issues, and we'll list you on our side. And if someone comes, that would be an extra for you, but we cannot guarantee. And at the same time, we did a lot of marketing that was more of word of mouth, because we didn't have any budget to spend. So there was a lot of work done in the software to just make sure we can solve any issues that these people have and allow them, help them save time, save costs, the cost of administration. The system at the beginning replaced the full-time person administrator. So we helped them save costs, we helped them save time. If they were like one-person business, they were running the business themselves pretty much, and help them also make money by putting out, our own Facebook posts, our Instagram posts. There wasn't even Instagram at that time, but pretty much like any, flyers we would put out there, or anything we could do in order to spread the word. We did a lot of events at that point. We had speed teaching events where we'll invite a lot of vendors to teach like in one event. We tried a lot of different things to generate a lot of inquiries, but the main thing was that we managed to solve the administration problem. And once we got that, commitment from the vendors, then we're concentrating on the marketing side where we're more powerful. We can bring people in.
I believe we have one more question over here. Yes?
Hi. So you were mentioning that after the fail, you kind of realized one of the problem is funding. Did you consider getting investor, or have you getting anyone invested at any point at all?
Yeah, this is a very good question actually. So investors, we did that. We thought that the best way to solve some of the problems that we had was get funding. So we went out there, and especially Kim, who is the king of pitching, he went out and pitched in competitions and Shark Tank. I don't even know what he has done in terms of pitching, but he saw it more as a challenge for himself to bring the idea out there and talk to people and just find the opportunity and understand what's the process of this. And it's a lot more hard than people think. We got investors wanted to put money onto We Teach Me, but the terms that they wanted were not very friendly. Yeah, I wouldn't say the opposite. And some of them we kind of after some of the startups that they were in the community received investment from them, they were completely destroyed, liquidated, really bad terms. So much pressure, people sitting in board meetings, intimidating founders and making them feel really bad about themselves. And we just looked at each other and we said, oh my God, we are so, so lucky that we did not, to say yes to these terms and, be saying, oh my God, this is such a large amount of money, we're going to grow. Because people that startups that receive investment, if they try to scale too fast, they end up, pretty much failing because they don't know the processes, they don't have the right audience. I think it was really good for us that we didn't get investment because we had to concentrate and have a bit of a discipline, financial discipline that startups that have received investment do not have. They're like, oh, spend here, I'll spend there. We never had that. And we've learned to survive and be resilient to difficulties and be able to do marketing with minimal cost and be able to, organize teams and motivate people and do things slightly by hustling and slightly by just being innovative and finding different ways and resources to run things. But at the same time, I think we are very lucky to be able to make decisions ourselves. Now, on the other hand, I think scaling a business is not going to happen magically. I think you need capital behind it. But I think if you ever decide to take investment, it will be like a marriage. So you better know who you're going to be with because you're going to be sleeping with them every night. So they are going to be wanting to see they're not giving you money because they think you're nice people. They're just giving you money because they want their money back 4 times. So there's going to be a lot of pressure. There's going to be a lot of influence in your decision making and your options and what you would like to do and what you would like to achieve. And that's an extra burden that people get excited about, but they don't consider. And what's going to be, because you don't own your business anymore. Someone else's money is there, so his influence can stress you to the point where you'll have a breakdown. And I've seen that a lot in the industry in the past 5 years.
So Demi, final question before we wrap up. Going through every single experience that you've had and reflecting on everything that you've gone through tonight, if you could jump in a time machine and jump back to the Demi that first started the business, what would you say to her?
I'd say it's going to be interesting. I don't know. I'd say go on. I'd say don't be scared. I'll say it's going to be hard. I would say all these things that kept me up at nights and in bed in the mornings. All these things that, would scare me. I would say to me to be that it would get somewhere. But I think if I knew how it would be now, I don't think the journey would have been the same, because I think people grow through the challenges and the difficulties that they go through. So even if I would prepare me in some kind of way, say this is going to happen, this is going to happen, you can never anticipate how emotional you're going to be, or how, the impact of running your own business might have in your well-being, or how you think of yourself, or the world around you, I guess. So I don't think I could do anything to prepare myself. I don't think I could give anything to prepare myself, but I'm happy that I took the journey. I'm happy for all the risks, and I'm grateful as well for all the challenges that made me who I am today.
Thank you. Can everyone please join me in thanking Demi tonight?